Good morning and welcome to Sea Fishing with CJ, out on the boat. Fantastic, we've been gagging to get out on the boat and we've managed to do it. But you can probably see behind me the weather conditions, although there's no wind, it is a little bit foggy. So with that in mind, at the moment, we're just going to stay in sight of land, which you can just about see behind me here. And we're going to drift along with some baits on, see if we can't catch a load of whiting, so that when the wind moves the fog off, we can drop the anchor, we can put a load of chopped up fish bait down onto the anchor to act as an attractant with the hope of catching a cod. That's what we really want to catch today. But in the meantime, we're going to have a little drift around with some worms on, see if we can't pick up some whiting. Well, we've got the first rod down, got some black log on it and a bit of ragworm actually, and we're just drifting along in sight of the coast. Not going to do anything mad at the moment. I'm going to wait for this bit of fog to burn off. If it does, see if we can't pick up a few whiting whilst we're doing that. There are so many seabirds. Just seen there's a whole flight of gannets going off over there. Again, you're probably not going to see them on this camera. And then you've got razorbills everywhere. I've never seen so many razorbills. Whole gangs of them. So I don't know if that portends bad weather out in the channel or lots of bait fish in the water. There's a raft of razorbills over there. Again, I don't think you'll get them on this camera, but just be specks on the horizon. I'll have a go with the other camera so if I can zoom in on them a little bit. Anyway, that's what we're doing. So, nice little boat going out there. It's a lovely day. Guillemots there right close in. Again, you should see that on this camera maybe. And then flights of razorbills. It's unbelievable. Never seen it like this. I've got a squid jig down now. Just want to let that bounce around just above the bottom, just on the off chance there's some squidlies around. There's obviously something out here that's bringing all these birds in, so let's hope that it's a whole smorgasbord of bait fish and we've got some fish here to feed on them. As soon as this burns off or blows off, which it looks as though the visibility is getting better actually, it's raising, it's lifting up. 20 feet up you're probably in a complete cloud, but down here on the surface it's yeah, it's lifting. So we'll give it a little bit longer. Gannets, unbelievable. A couple of rods out. So this one's got squid jigs on and this one's just got some worm on. Just waiting for this fog to burn off. It's lingering on. It is lingering, but it will go, I'm sure. Once we've done that, we can drop the anchor and get comfortable, settle down, have a cup of tea, and do some serious fishing. Got a fruit flapjack, garage food, and a mug of tea. Let's see if that makes a difference to our fortunes. Catch you later. That rod's just giving a little tiny nod every so often. Of course, put the camera on, it'll stop. Yeah, little vibrations, but that could be just the lead dragging along the bottom and just catching it. Oh no, I don't know, I think that's a fish. But if it is, it's a tiny fish. Yeah, definitely got a bite on there now, haven't we? Oh yes, come on. Come on, daddy. Oh. There's definitely a bite there, but it's one of those fickle fish. Baits are all intact, so let's get her back down. Nice little whiting rattle just then. I don't think it's still on there, but we'll wind it in a second, see if there's any bait left. Oh, maybe there is. Maybe we've not had a blank. Nodding and rattling now. Weird, isn't it? You'd think it would have gone still after the first little bite, but there we go. Nice size whiting. So we've not had a blank. Important that. Be nice off the beach, that size, for sure. Worm's still good. Let's get that back down. Where that is, there'll be lots more. So let it back down again. Down to the bottom. We have drifted a little bit further offshore, so it's interesting that. Oh look, there's a guillemot right behind us. And a razorbill crossing across. Yeah, happy days. So we've not had a blank. So cue the music. Whoa, not a blank dance. Here we go, another one on the bottom hook each time. They seem to prefer the black lug to the ragworm. But just little ones. But as they're for ground bait, it doesn't matter so much. A little bit of ragworm there. I'm not a great fan of ragworm. I think if you're fishing over an area where there are ragworm, then it probably is a good bait. But there's not. This isn't an area where you get ragworm. You get little maddies and the white rag, but I don't think it's a ragworm area. Don't know why that is. I mean, the first whiting I had was actually quite a reasonable size, but these are just tiddlers. Oh, a little bit of a breeze blowing now. Let's blow this fog away. Come on, fog, blow away. So we got a whiting. He's lassoed himself, I think. I don't know where that hook's going in. Somehow, that hook is not even hooked. That hook is wrapped around his head. And this will be the same piece of worm that's had 2 fish so far, or was it 3? Somebody said they were getting better whiting with bits of fish bait actually yesterday. I don't really want to be fishing for whiting though. Just passing the time. Get me that back on. Oh, pardon me. Cold. Oh, that looks a bit of fish. There's a pair of quite nice ones. There you go. So, more whiting. There is so much bird life out here at the moment. As on the way out, there was a big flock of seagulls. I don't know what they were feeding on, but mixed in with them were some large rafts of razorbills and guillemots. I don't think I've ever seen them in numbers like that. A ragworm on the top hook. Ragworm's trying to nip me. Don't like my bait biting me, really. And unfortunately, that lucky worm came off just then, so I'm going to have to put a fresh bit on. It is a bit cold out here, I have to say. Rod's nodding again. Oh yeah, we got a bite on there. We have a bite. So we did have a rattle on this rod. Let's just, whoop, yeah, we still got a rattle on there. Let's wind it in, see what we got. Ooh, feels like another pair of whiting. Might actually put a cod bait out and just drag a cod bait along the bottom. Here we go. Yeah, another pair of whiting. Don't want to fill the boat up with whiting really. We've got enough to chop up if we need to for ground bait. Come here. Right, yeah, I think we're gonna stop fishing for whiting. We'll put a whole cuttlefish on, which we'll just drag along in the drift. I'm loath to drop the anchor when it's foggy like this, because if I hear the ship coming, I want to be able to get out of the way of it. And if my anchor's down, it could be the difference between life and death, as they say. So let's retrace this up and get a decent size trace down. So just tackling this up, I'm going to put some decent size hooks on it, put a cuttlefish on here, and just drag it along. Might pick up a conger eel as well. I mean, the drift is really slow, we're not moving at all. In fact, it's virtually slack water now, I think. Maybe the fog will go with the tide change. Can hope. We'll pennel a couple of I don't know, 7 O's or something like that on here. Get rid of the cuttlefish bone. So we got that hooked up beautifully. Nice hook proud sticking out of the cuttlefish's head. Let's lose these long tentacles so they don't get ragged by the little whiting. And we'll let that out and hope it makes a great stink in the water. Might want a heavier lead than this actually. Let's put a 10 ounce on. Right, I don't know if this is going to be too big or not. We've got to put a 10 ounce lead on here and just let that so it drags along the bottom. Got to keep an eye on it because obviously it could get snagged in the bottom. It is quite a snaggy bottom here. But hey, whatever. Let's give it a go. I can hear something, but I think it's an aeroplane. It's got to be an aeroplane. Unless there's a boat out here with jet engines. I can see the top of the fog now. Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this because it is a bit of a raggy bottom here. Up. Make sure the drag's set so that if it suddenly does hook in, it's going to take a bit of line. Right, let's see what that brings. That brings. Hands are cold, but I have a secret weapon. The magic hand warmer. Yeah, baby. It's only on 1 bar at the moment. Let's turn it up a bar. Right, it's on 3 bars. That should go red hot. That should go really warm. Warm my hands up. You can see that rod. Right, so you can watch that rod. Tell me if I get a bite. I mean, any little niggling taps and rattles we can ignore because it's a huge bait. That would just be whiting nipping at it, or the lead dragging along the bottom. Don't think these squid jigs are doing anything. Lots of rattling and tapping on that rod, but it could be whiting ragging at the cuttlefish, or it could be the lead dragging on the bottom. We're going to get a big lunging bite over, knock over, come on, big cod bite. On the whole cuttlefish, so I wound it in just to see what's going on, and the voracious hordes of piranha, otherwise known as whiting, have completely demolished that cuttlefish. Now, I would always say that cuttlefish is a pretty robust bait and it will stand up to it, but clearly not. I think I've steamed, I think the tide is ebbing and I've steamed too far west now, so, or drifted too far west, so I'm going to steam a little bit further back to where I started out from. Right, we're steaming up tide. We've drifted quite a long way west actually. I want to be a bit further east. I want to be up sort of underneath Seaford Head. Steaming back towards the shore at the moment, so I can see the shore. Right, got a bit of tackling and sorting out to do. I want to fill this up with fish bait. If I was any form of organised, I would have done all this before I steamed up tide, but I'm not, so I'm doing it now. So here's the rubby sack. So I tie this onto the nose of the anchor, the back of the nose of the anchor, so it's not in the way of anything. Doesn't stop the anchor setting. The anchor's heavier than it in the water, so the anchor drops first so it doesn't go below the anchor. Right, where are we? Steam back up a little bit, I think. Might actually go inside that net actually. And I think we're going to camp here. Okay, this is where we're going to drop the anchor. So we're going to drop the anchor over the side of the boat here. I'll stop the forward motion of the boat first. Still moving forward a little bit. Let's kill that. That's the anchor down. Steam backwards a little bit. Right, I've got this amazing triangle thing. So I've got this amazing triangle, whoops. Put that through there. Stops the anchor, the damn boy coming up the line. So we can drift away from that. That's nicely. And then with the old dog rope, I'm going to pull that to the front of the boat. A bit more tide running than I thought actually. So that's hauled it round to the front of the boat. And then tie it off. And Bob's your mother's brother. Kill the engine. And peace and quiet. Peace and quiet. That's it, we're anchored and we are fishing. Visibility is a lot better now. We're inside that net. I say we're inside that net. Make sure we are inside that net. There's one marker there. Don't know where the other marker is. Can't see. Oh, there. The other marker's down there. So we've got the net lying alongside us here, about, I don't know, 25, 30 metres away, and we'll be fishing parallel to it once the boat swings round into the tide, which it virtually has done now. All right, let's get fishing. So we've got a cuttlefish here. Going to thread that onto the hook and then pennel rig it up. It's nice, actually, nice, a small cuttlefish. I didn't realise I had a small one like this. Come out the skirt, through its head, come out of its head, and then we'll pennel rig it so that that hook is nice and clear. Well, I can hear the shore. Can't see it, but I can hear it. Right, there we go. So that's the cuttlefish. So you might need a heavier weight than that. Just make sure we're hard on the bottom. That should do. This is on an uptide rod, to be quite honest. I have got other rods with me, but it just seemed to be the one that came to hand. My other rod, the one that I should be using for this, has actually got the squid jigs on. Should have it the other way around, really, I guess. But we can always change it a bit later on. Right, so we're down. And we've got a squid jig down and we've got a whole cuttlefish down. So we're just going to put a little whiting rod out. So the simplest of rigs, literally a lead on the bottom, like that. And then we're going to put a French boom, I don't know, a foot or so off the bottom. I've just come up with a cunning plan on French booms. Is that if you have a bead, it just makes it that much easier to adjust it. And what should we put? Should we put a little strip of cuttlefish or a bit of worm? Let's put a bit of ragworm. Get rid of this manky ragworm. So we've got a boom, a little bit of ragworm. It's sitting. We'll move it down a little bit, maybe. So it's sitting just above the bottom. Oops, that's the rod falling over and hitting the camera. Right, we'll put this over this side of the boat now. You ain't going to be able to see it because it's over this side of the boat, but you'll see me jumping around if I get a bite. That's it, it's on the bottom. See, what's this doing? Is this on the bottom or not? That's hard on the bottom. Yeah, here we go. It's only a little one. Considering I nearly pulled my rod over the side of the boat, it's a bit ambitious, I feel. Now, as there's so many little white in here, I need to check that cuttlefish, I think, because it's probably ragged to bits. Get that one down. Right, shout out if you see I've got a bite on, because I nearly missed that and my rod had lifted up. So we're going to get this one up and check the cuttlefish, see if there's any bait on there still. Oh, here we go, I've got a bite on that other rod, I think. Oh. Look at that. Whoa, there's obviously a plague of white in here, because that rod is hammering, and that was a whole cuttlefish on there, and it's nothing, it's gone. So, let's get this one in. Get another cuttlefish on the cod rod. It would be nice if these whiting grew about 10 times bigger, wouldn't it? You know, if they went up to sort of 10 or 15 pound, that would be a nice fish. But that's actually quite a nice size whiting. Again, nice size whiting. And away. Tell you what, if you catch them on the beach, they don't survive. There's no way you can keep them alive, but that one went down like a rocket. While we were tackling up my main bait, something definitely on here. Got a nice bend in the rod, but I think it's just whiting in the tide. Definitely coming up from the bottom. I can see it coming up on the sounder. You can see it all the way to the surface on the sounder. How bizarre is that? It's obviously picking the fish up. Here we go. Mr. Walter Whiting, Breaking Bad. And away. And let's time this. So as soon as I hit the bottom, we'll start counting. So the way it goes. 1 and 2 and 3. 3. The count of 3, and there was a fish on there. How's about that? Just goes to show how crazy the whiting pandemic is. So all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so on the bottom, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 4 seconds, and it is rattling. 4 seconds. All the way down. One and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. 6 seconds to get the first knock. So. But I mean, the record is 3 seconds. 3 seconds from the lead hitting the bottom to a fish ragging a bait. I'll try and put something that's a little bit more substantial. Maybe put a bit of cuttle on it. See how that goes. They're obviously liking cuttle because they're robbing it. Oh no, the bait's still there. The bait is still there. It's been tugged at. Yeah, it's pretty at it. Let's put a bit of cuttle on. Let's slice a bit of cuttle up and put that on. Ow, don't want to hook in my finger, please. These are tiny little hooks I've got on here. These are bloody white bream hooks, really. Or it is a bream hook. There's only one on it. But so feed up the line a little bit. Put the hook through one more time. They are voracious feeders, them whiting. There must be thousands of them down there, and they're in a real competition with each other. So, got a bit of cuttlefish on there this time. Let's put that down, see how many seconds before that one starts getting ragged at. Right, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Not so popular. Yeah, that's interesting. See, they're not rushing in on the cuttlefish like they were on the worm. I'm confident that I will get something on it. Oh, the big cuttlefish on the bottom, that is rocking and a banging. And see, maybe the whiting have moved on, or they'll come back. Right, let's leave that to cook for a while longer. And 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, 7 and 9 and 10. Interesting, interesting. The winner so far is the ragworm. So we'll test that out again in a minute. I mean, the cutoff and the black lug are catching fish, but it was the ragworm that's getting hit straight away. Oh, there we got a little nod now. I mean, that net inside me there, I don't know what size mesh it is, but it must be full of fish. It must be full of whiting. I think the fish has come off this. It was tugging and rattling, but it's not anymore. Yeah, it's come off. The bait's still there though. Let's put it back down again. Going to need to check this big cuttlefish down here because I reckon that's probably been noshed away. So we'll put that down. We'll leave it down. And let's bring this one up. Come on, up and hold up. Ooh, hello. Ooh, hello. I don't know if it's a fish or what it is, but it's heavy. Any of my other rods going light? We got light. Oh, hello. We have a dogfish. Just for some variety, the variety of life and everything. Oh, and the whiting rod is a knock-in again. So there we go, bit of variety. And for a dogfish, oh, it's trying to wrap it around my hand. I don't want to do that because I want to keep my skin intact. A dogfish and the wee. That probably is because of the rubby sack. It does have, rubby sacks do bring in dogfish for sure. Come on, out you come. Another big ambitious bait. Get the cuttlefish on there. If you've seen the size of a cod's mouth, you'd realise that actually that's not too big a bait. they will come and engulf that in one hit. I mean, that dogfish did manage to catch my back of my hand there a little bit and take the skin off. So we've got another big ambitious bait. Hooks are nicely clear. Let's get it down there. That cod is down there with my name on it, for sure. It's a gannet sailing over again. Okay, so that's down. I mean, I have to say that I was getting little tiny twitches on that rod. Mind you, I've not been watching it that closely. I didn't notice any good bites on that. Bites on here. There's fish on here, I think. Oh yes, Eine kleine Weissing. Little white in, and away. Let's kill this camera. We're going to put this down and we'll count and see how quickly before that gets a bite. See if it is the ragworm or whether it just happened the fish were there. So here we go, down it goes. Hair in my eyes. I never had hair in my eyes before. It's a new sensation. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 5 and 7, 8. Count of 8 and I've got a knock on. So yeah, ragworm is obviously the whiting bait for today. It's not always the case. Sometimes they don't like it at all, but they like it today. That's probably an indication they're fresh run. And they've come up from the Solent where there's a lot of ragworm. And they haven't quite learnt that it's not a local fish. Oh, oh, it's fighting. It's a fighting whiting. And the cuttlefish is being ragged by whiting, I feel. Hopefully it will survive a little bit longer. There we go, and away. Right, let's put oh, that's knocking and rattling really well, that the cuttlefish bait, but I suspect whiting. Doesn't look like a big cod bite.
All stations, this is Solent Coast Guard for the Maritime Safety Information broadcast for the New Haven, Needles and Bearhead aerials. Listen channel 62. This is
I need to put my hat back on, my hair's getting in my eyes. Right, we're going to leave that down there and let it rock and roll for a little while. Look at that. So the big cuttlefish bait is being ragged at by whiting. It's definitely knocking and rocking. It's funny how they whiting, they give you a rattling bite and then they just go dormant there. But there's definitely fish on. Here we go, Mr. Walton Whiting again. I could put a second snood on there and be bringing them up 2 at a time, but I don't want that many whiting. Oh, that cuttlefish has been ragged at. Right, so this has been rocking and rattling for a while, so I suspect that the cuttlefish has been well noshed in it, so it's going to need baiting up again. They're very voracious, those little bloody whiting, like bloody piranha fish. There's nothing on here, so there's no dogfish on here, and ho-ho, we have shiny hooks. Shiny hooks. Get a bit of water in there. Racking and banging away at this huge piece of cuttlefish down here. But I just think it, as I say, it's the bloody winter piranhas. So we've got this cuttlefish. First thing you've got to do is you've got to take the cuttlefish bone out. You don't need that. So that goes to, unless you've got a parrot or a budgie. Oh, my other cuttlefish bait is rattling and banging again. And then the way I hook them up is I put the hook in at the nose of the cuttlefish and thread it through. So up, thread it through, hook it through one more time, come out the bottom of the mantle, like that, and then come up in the middle of its head, so around about where its little siphon thing is. This one's a bit frozen, so it's a bit stiff, but we'll get it there. So you've got that sticking out there, and want it sticking out nice and proud, like that. Pull that line taut, bring the pennel hook down, wrap the line round it 5 or 6 or 7 times so it's not going to slip, and then we just put that through, so it's going to hold it straight. So you've got a hook coming out one side and a hook coming out the other side. And we put that in, because the whiting start ragging at it, all its guts and what have you come out, so it's giving a nice scent trail. And if we're lucky, something picks up that scent, comes and eat it. We haven't been that lucky today, but we will keep on trying. Just let it down. Let it down under control. You don't want it spinning up the line. The big raft of guillemots over there, you can't see them, I don't think, but they're either guillemots or razorbills. There might be razorbills actually, and that's on the bottom, and already it's got whiting attention, so let's leave it there, see what happens. And the other rod is also getting rattled at, so we'll turn this around so you can see that. So that rod is going as well. So whiting, piranhas as I think I'm going to call them from now on. You can see that rod is rattling and banging. That's a whole cuttlefish on there. The one that should be catching whiting has probably had the bait stripped off it now, so let's wind that up and have a look. Oh, might be a fish on there actually. Not having to pump this up, we're just cranking it up. Yeah, it's a whiting on there. There it is. Not a particularly big one. Put him down. Give him the count and see how many before we get a bite on it. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it's been down 10 seconds, no bite. That's unusual. But we'll leave it and see what happens. Put it here so I can watch it. It's only a little bit of worm, little tiddly bit of worm. See if I can get a camera on that shot on that big bird. Where's the camera on? Right, so we're recording. Don't know if it's focused in or not. Here you go. The rod's nodding. Look at that, there's a guillemot lost there. Camera shy guillemot. Not got much longer, I don't think. We are plagued by whiting here. If there are any cod, I don't think they can get in to the baits because they're just whiting all over them. I mean, this rod here, that rod there is banging away like a good one. Turn that around. See the visibility now. You can see the cliffs. You can see everything. You can see the sea. Why we joined the Navy? The sea. Yep. I think we're going to wind these. Oh, hello. Got a little knock on the actual rod that's designed for whiting. I think I might pack this away now, actually. Ooh. There's fish on here. Right, so just winding this one up, and sure enough, we have a whiting, another whiting. Yeah, I'm going to pack this rod away now because really it was fun while it lasted, but we're getting loads of activity on the actual bigger rods. And away. 3 more baits. Right, this one I suspect has been mullered. Oh, I don't know. Something on there. Oh. Is that one coming up? No. Oh, we got something going on here. Let's turn this around. It's not fighting, but it's heavy. The other rod's not going light, so. Got any colour? Should have colour. Oh, got a fish. I've got 2 monster whiting on both hooks, one on each hook. Look at them, 2 big ones they are. Both foul hooked on the cuttlefish bait. But they're both reasonable size whiting. That's quite a big one. It's not as big as the big one I lost. So they're both foul hooked. So they've obviously been so voraciously feeding on that cuttlefish that they just got broadside onto the hooks. Hit the bottom and within seconds are banging and rattling like a good one. It's whiting, I'm sure, but you never know. Mixed in amongst the shoulder whiting, might be one lone cod, lost cod. Right, that's my last bait here. So, well, as soon as these have been rattling for a while, unless something happens serious, then we'll bait that last lot up. And so I've got half an hour more fishing, and then I'm knocking it on the head. So it's whether I put that bait on or whether I consign that bait to the seagulls. I don't know quite what we're going to do. See. I mean, they're voracious feeders, whiting, aren't they? You know, I wish that they were as big as their rattling bite would appear them to be. Yeah, both rods are rattling away.
All ships and boats straight. This is Coast Guard for the information service broadcast. Change channel to channel 11, channel 11. Over Coast Guard out.
Well, everybody, it's been an enjoyable trip out, I have to say. Caught loads and loads of whiting. Again, didn't manage to get them all on film because it was quite busy at times. I had one dogfish as well, just to make it a multi-species trip. I lost the biggest whiting I've ever seen. It was getting on for, I mean, fisherman's tails. It was 2/3 of a metre in length, 66 centimetres easily. It was a monster. And it fought all the way up. I thought I'd got something decent on for a moment. But other than that, it's just been a whiting fest. The whole cuttlefish baits, which you put down and you tend to expect to withstand the rigours of the whiting, were getting demolished. I mean, they're like bloody piranha fish. So we're gonna call it a night. We're gonna pack up and we're gonna start heading in. And if I don't get a chance to say it to you again, season's greetings to you all. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. There will be some footage out between now and New Year. I've got a load of films to finish editing and put out. One of them, I was out yesterday with Tony Kirridge on the beach. He was fishing a match, and hopefully there's a lot of lessons to be learned from Tony because he is a champion match angler. Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. I don't know that I want that pressure. It was quite pressured at times. So we're gonna head back in. So in the meantime, please everybody keep safe, keep sane, keep fishing. I don't know if I'm focusing on this or what, but there's a flock of razorbills there. Must be 20 or 30 of them. Amazing. Never seen it like this. The razorbills. I mean, you get a few, but not in great clumps like that. Oh, and they've all gone. They've all gone under the water. Obviously, that might have been filmed. I wonder if I got that on film. Well, it's been a great day out at sea. Caught loads of whiting, one dogfish, and that's it really. But loads and loads and loads of wildlife and birds out here. They've come back up again. Let's see if I can get them into focus. As I say, I don't know that it's focusing. They've all gone down again. As soon as I turn the camera on them, they dive away. How bizarre is that? They're there. And you can hear the kittiwakes, the kittiwake colony all going ballistic. I'll zoom right in now. So I can't see them on the viewfinder at all. So it makes me think it's not focusing. Getting closer. Oh, there they are. whole flock of razorbills. Can't wait to get home and see if I got that. And then up there is a gannet. And they've all gone under again. So every so often they just all dive under together and then they all come up together. And then they kind of clean themselves. They've all gone again. There's one up. And then look, all of them come up together. I'm kind of guessing if I'm pointing the camera at them because I can't see them in the viewfinder at all. Zoom back out again. And then all gone, gone again. So let's pack up and let's go home. Guillemot over there, gannets, and the final fish of the day, a whiting. There you go, bye bye. Happy Christmas, and away. Right, that's it. Let's get the show on the road, get the anchor up, and let's get going home. Got the triangle back, magic triangle. That has been noshed at, isn't it? Look at that. Whiting have been ragging at the bag. Yeah, look at that. Half emptied. Right, let's get this show on the road. I'll leave it running. Why not? Ooh.